Welcome back, scholars. Wow, we've just read our whole text, A Tennis Star, which we know is about Jimmy Connors. We highlighted all of our topic sentences, and we used those highlighted topic sentences to write two repeated topic sentences, which I know added together makes one. Tell me. Yes, main idea. Now we get to answer some questions. Question 1. What is the main idea of a tennis star? Can you say easy peasy? Yes. Right away, friends, I notice that I see those clue words, main idea. So I'm going to ask myself, what part of my making text that seem very complicated, simple planner am I going to look at to help me answer? Let's see if you can try this one on your own. You have 1 minute to use your poke codes, so make sure that you have your paper and pencil ready to help you with this question. Get ready and go. Ten more seconds, friends. Let's see what we've got. Now, if you were using your TS box to help you answer this question, show me a yes. Right. This question is asking about the main idea, which we know we already have from our two repeated topic sentences. I need to ask myself, does this answer choice match my main idea that Jimmy Connors was a well-liked player and was the greatest tennis player of all time? Does it match those two important ideas? Let's check our answers. A. Jimmy Connors won 8 Grand Slam tournaments. Right. This is an impressive accomplishment, but it's a little too specific and includes too much detail. I'm not seeing those big ideas about how he was popular and the greatest player of all time. B. Jimmy Connors never lost a tennis match. Right. Just like letter A, this is also too specific. Again, it does show he's a great tennis player, but that doesn't quite match my big ideas that he was well liked and the greatest tennis player of all time. Letter C, Jimmy Connors made tennis fun to watch. We know that this was part of our main idea and one of our repeating topic sentences that Jimmy Connors was well liked, but it's not including that other important part of my main idea, that he was the greatest tennis player of all time. That might be a little too general. Letter D, Jimmy Connors is known as the greatest tennis player of all time. What do we think? Right. Scholars, this last main idea best describes all of the details that we read in the text, how he was popular and very talented as a tennis player. If you got that letter D, go ahead and kiss your brain. Great. Let's go ahead and make sure that we add that to our planner. And And number 2. Ooh, friends, this is a Part A question, so don't get tricked. We know with Part A questions, we first need to highlight our inference. Number 2, Part A. What conclusion about Jimmy Connors and his life as a tennis player is supported by the information in the passage? Scholars, I know with a Part A question, I need to highlight my clues in the question that will help me find this conclusion. It's asking me what conclusion about what specific evidence? Jimmy Connors and his life as a tennis player is supported by the information in the passage. So I'm going to think about all the text evidence that I read about Jimmy Connors, and I'm going to make an inference about what I know about his life as a tennis player. We can go back in the text and also use our Making Text That Seem Very Complicated Simple Planner. You will again have 1 minute to use your poke codes and answer this question. Get ready and go. "15 more seconds, friends." Remember, this is asking me what conclusion about Jimmy Connors and his life as a tennis player. So we can use both what we wrote in our TS box and our topic sentences to help us figure that out. This question is asking about Jimmy Connors and his life as a tennis player. To remind myself, I know that in my main idea in my TS box, I wrote that Jimmy Connors was a well-loved tennis player and the greatest tennis player of his time. And looking back at those supporting details, which are my topic sentences, I know that people love to watch him. He finally stepped into the spotlight and won a lot of tournaments. He was the best in the sport because he won 1,256 matches and 8 Grand Slams. Again, he was exciting to watch. So now let's use this information to think of a inference, a conclusion we can make about Jimmy Connors as a tennis player. Letter A. Jimmy Connors learned to play tennis from his brother. Right. There is no evidence of this from the text. Letter B. Jimmy Connors is considered the best tennis player because he won so many matches. Right. We definitely saw evidence for this in the text just from our topic sentences. But let's double check the next answers. C. Jimmy Connors did not win any Grand Slam tournaments. No, scholars. This is just not true, or even you could have written opposite. We know from our text and from one of our topic sentences that in fact, Jimmy Connors won 8 Grand Slams. So that's just not true, the opposite. And D. Jimmy Connors retired after 5 years of playing tennis. Right. This is a fact from the text, but this is not necessarily a conclusion or an inference that I can make thinking about Jimmy Connors and his life. This is not a relevant answer and kind of answers a different question. That means that our correct answer and our correct inference is B. Jimmy Connors can be considered the best tennis player because he won so many matches. So I can add what I know from the text. He won over 1,000 matches and 8 Grand Slams and add that to my schema. Well, if you win a lot of matches and you win the hardest tournament there is in tennis 8 times, you must be one of the best tennis players ever. So we know for a part A question, we always highlight our inference too. Go ahead and, if you haven't already, circle letter B on your POCODES scrap paper. We'll need that for part B later. Let's add this to our Google form as well. What conclusion about Jimmy Connors and his life as a tennis player is supported by the information in the passage? Remember, adding the evidence from my topic sentences to my schema. Jimmy Connors is considered the best tennis player because he won so many matches. If you need some more time, go ahead and pause your video and double check your answers. Otherwise, let's move on.